Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next game in the 1987 American League Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced Replay. We're in Fenway Park in Boston. This is game number 2 of the May 13th block, game 220 overall in the replay. It is the Boston Red Sox at 12-20, taking on Seattle at 12-21. Pitching matchup, Al Nipper. He's 3-2 against Mark Langston, who is 3-4. Hello, Kenny. Good to see you. So we're at Fenway, which is a hitter's paradise. Hello, Ben. Singles are lefties 1-19, righties 1-15, home runs 1-7 for lefties, 1-10 for righties over the Green Monster. Neither pitcher can hold runners very well. Nipper's a +4 and Sullivan's a 0, so net +4. Langston's a +1, and then Bradley's a +2 for a net +3. So you might see some steal chances here, although Boston doesn't run that much, but Seattle has a couple guys that actually do. All right, so Al Nipper is finishing up the warm-up tosses, and I'll get the complete numbers on Al Nipper. He is 3-2 on the replay with a 4.43 earned run average, which is 1 point better than his real life, which was 5.43. But in the replay is 4.43. 45 innings pitched, 50 hits, 14 walks, 34 strikeouts. There you see the lineups for both teams. A couple of administrative notes before we get going. As we look at the previous game in this series, Boston had to go to their bullpen very early. Sellers got knocked out pretty quickly. So Bolton and Gardner had to pitch 3 innings apiece. So that means in the bullpen for the Red Sox, the only 2 fresh arms they have are Steve Crawford and Joe Sambito. So they're going to need Al Nipper to pitch some innings. No other way about it. For the Mariners, Wilkinson went 2 innings, so he's going to be at the back end of the list. We'll use him in case of emergency. Huseman got traded to Cleveland, and so to take his place on the roster, Steve Shields, a fresh arm, has come in for Seattle. So he will be available. So in the bullpen for Seattle, they will have Shields and Jerry Reed from the right side, along with Nunez, and then Stan Clark from the left side. And again, Wilkinson in case of emergency. So there you go. Those administrative duties out of the way, hopefully. And we will get ourselves going here. As soon as I can figure out where I put the Al Nipper card. I just had it in front of me. Now I can't figure out where I put it. Did I mix it in with Seattle by chance? Possibly. That's kind of embarrassing to have it right there in front of me, and now it's gone. Talk about a Houdini act. I got to figure out where his card went. Can't play the game without it. This is strange. Check Boston stuff again. Make sure it didn't get mixed in there. I don't see that it did. Boy, this is something else. Getting ready to start a game and don't have the card I need, the pitcher card I need. It was just right there in front of me, too. I know I'm getting old, but this is ridiculous. I mean, I literally just had it. Oh, it got buried under the score sheet. That's what happened. Got buried under the previous score sheet because I had the old score sheet on top of it. That's what caused the problem. Okay. So I'm going crazy, but not that crazy. All right. So Al Nipper finishing up the warm-up tosses. And leading off for Seattle will be John Moses. Sorry for that little hiccup there. Got a little bit out of sorts for that. So John Moses will lead things off for the Mariners in the replay. Moses is hitting an even 200 in 110 at-bats. He's hitting 200 with a homer and 14 runs driven in. He has stolen 11 bases. So his big thing is getting on base, but when you're only hitting 200, you're not getting on base very often. All right, so Nipper is ready, and we're ready. It's a 5-5, switch it to batting left, and that is a line out to first base, Bill Buckner. Right there to get it. And this time I am scoring the game as I play it. All right, so Phil Bradley will be up now for the Mariners. He's hitting 230 in 122 at-bats, 4 homers, 11 driven in. 1-3, and that's a base on balls. So Nipper issues his first walk. And we'll see if Bradley can get a jump. Remember, it's a +4. So if they get the lead, it's cake because he's already a 19. So he needs a 2 through 5 to get that lead. He does not get the lead, so he will hold. He could almost go without the lead. It'd be a 13. -4 would be a 9. That'd be a 1-13. They're not going to try it on 1-13, I don't think. All right, so Scott Bradley, the batter. He's hitting .244 and 78 at bats. No homers, 8 runs driven in. First havoc roll, nothing happening. Nipper to Bradley, 5-7. That's a ground ball shortstop X. Now, they were holding Bradley, so the shortstop, Romero, is going to drop one number to a 4E10 because he is responsible for holding Bradley at first base when a lefty is up there. So it's a 4E10. 4 and a 13. That might be the difference between a double play and a fielder's choice. 4 and a 13 is actually a G3, so the only play will be at first base, assuming he makes no error. His error rating's an E10, and 16, 17, 18. So he's good to go there, no error, but it will be a 6-3, with the only play being to first base. And Scott Bradley grounds out, but Phil Bradley will advance to second base. 2 down, and that brings up the designated hitter Ken Phelps. Phelps on the replay hitting .232, 6 homers, 19 driven in, and 82 at bats. Nipper trying to get out of the first inning, little bit of mess he's created, 6-9, and he does. It's a ground ball to second. Marty Barrett is there, and that's going to end the inning. So Nipper gets out of it, gives up a walk, nothing else. And at the end of half inning to play, it's Seattle nothing, and the Red Sox coming to bat. Mark Langston, the left-hander, the ace of the Mariners, although he's not pitching quite like an ace right now. On the replay, he is 3-4 with a 5.32 earned run average. His real world was 3.84. So he's having an off season so far. 47 innings pitched, 51 hits, 19 walks, 58 strikeouts. Ellis Burks will lead off for Boston. He's hitting only .170 and 47 at bats. A homer and 4 driven in. He had .272 real world, so he's struggling as well. So we got a struggling hitter against a struggling pitcher. Something's got to give. 4-9. And the hitter prevails. 1-4 is a triple. 5-20 is a double. That's a 6. It'll be a leadoff double for Ellis Burks. So Ellis Burks with a leadoff double. Hello, RJL. I'm playing this game, and when it ends, it ends. I can't do anything else other than that. All right, here's Marty Barrett. Barrett hitting .329. No homers, 5 driven in. Nothing on the havoc. 2-9 against the left-hander. It's a ground ball shortstop A. That'll hold the runner, 1 away. Runner Burks will stop at second, or stay at second base, I should say. Here's Wade Boggs, third baseman. On the replay, he's hitting .362, 6 homers, 14 driven in 127 at bats. It's also walked 29 times. 1-5 against the lefty. It's a home run, 1-19. It is gone. Wade Boggs. A 1-5 against left-handers. A 1-19 is a home run. That's an 18. That is home run number 7 for Wade Boggs. Home run number 7 for Mr. Boggs. RBIs 15 and 16. Sox lead it 2-0. And Langston continues to struggle. That'll bring up Don Baylor, designated hitter. Baylor on the replay, hitting .240, 4 homers, 17 driven in. 5-10, and that's a fly center field X. So we're looking at Moses. He's a 2E5 for John Moses. 2-19 will get to it. E5 and a 14. Let's see, E5 and a 14 for a center fielder. There is no 14, so it's a good play for Moses. And there's 2 away. That'll bring up Dewey Evans. Evans on the replay hitting .317. 6 homers, 27 driven in. 6-7, and that's a base on balls. First walk issued by Langston. 2-out walk. Evans will not be held. He won't go anywhere. And here's Billy Buck. Buckner on the replay is hitting .286 just like he did in real world. A homer and 16 driven in. Lefty on lefty matchup with Langston. 3-8, and that is a ground ball to short, so they get the final out there. But Boston puts up 2 on the 2-run home run from Wade Boggs. And at the end of 1, it's Boston 2, Seattle nothing. Al Nipper given a 2-run lead to protect. And he is back out. He needs some innings because Boston only has 2 relievers available in their bullpen. Everybody else is tired. So here is the Hound Dog, Jim Presley. He's hitting a .194, 4 homers, 19 driven in. 5-10, and that's a ballpark blast for Jim Presley, which is a 1-10. That's a 6, and that's gone. So Jim Presley connects his 5th home run of the season, RBI number 20, right over the Green Monster on the ballpark blast. And it cuts the lead in half to 2-1. The Hound Dog. Nipper saying don't be cruel, but he's cruel anyway with the home run. Here's Alvin Davis hitting .305, 4 homers, 14 driven in. 6-2. Fly ball right field X. That's Dewey Evans. You know he's going to get to it because he's a 1. He's only an E2, so the only way he makes an error on the E2 is a 3, 16, and 18. And there's no error there. He will make the catch. Helps to have a fielder like Dewey Evans in right field, that's for sure. So Davis is out of there. Here's Kingery. 2-6 for Kingery, and he grounds to third, where Boggs makes the play. Kingery, forgot to mention, is hitting .288, 4 homers, 12 driven in before that at bat. Of course, his average a little bit lower now on the ground ball to Boggs. 2 down for Ray Quinones. Shortstop, Quinones on the replay hitting .216, no homers, 12 driven in. Nipper 1-3 as a ground ball to Marty Barrett to end the inning. So the Mariners get a run on the homer by the Hound Dog, but other than that, Nipper takes care of them the rest of the way. Go to the bottom of the second, 2-1 ball game, favor of the Red Sox. Langston will be facing Hindu Dave Henderson. He is in left field for this game. Normally plays center field, but he's with the addition of Burks, they moved him to left field. He's hitting .242, 7 homers, 19 driven in. 6-3 for Langston. Fly ball right field X. That is Kingery. He's a 3-E-3. Probably will make an error, but the range is iffy. 3-12, he'll get to it. 3-12 is no problem whatsoever. F2, and he is an E3, but that's a 16. That could be problems. Oh, 15 would have been a 2-base error, but a 16 is just fine. So Kingery almost did a big boo-boo, but he makes the play, and there's one away. For shortstop Ed Romero. Romero hitting .344 on the replay. No homers, 7 driven in. 110, and that's a pop out to Quinones at short. 2 quick outs for Langston. He's gotten better after that rough first inning. Here's Mark Sullivan, Mr. Nepotism, Exhibit A of Nepotism. And he, on the replay, is hitting .207, a homer and 9 driven in. Of course, he is, I believe, the nephew of Haywood Sullivan, who was a bigwig for the Red Sox. Probably how he got his job. 2-7, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. First strikeout for Langston. And that's going to do it for the Red Sox. We play 2, and it's still 2-1 ball game. Nipper will be facing Harold Reynolds to start things off. Top of the third. Reynolds hitting .262. No homers, 6 driven in, and 103 at bats. Does have 9 steals. Stole 60 bases on the season. Nipper 6'11", switch hitter. Split chance 1-7 is a single, but that's an 8, so he will line it to Barrett. 1 away. So Reynolds felt like he got cheated, but that's just the way it is. Here's John Moses. He lined to first base his first time up. 1-8. This time he'll ground to Buckner. So Buckner has retired Moses twice. Better hit it somewhere else, my friend. 2 down for Phil Bradley. He walked his first chance. 2-11, and as a ground ball to third, and Boggs handles it easily to end the top of the third. We go to the bottom of the third, still 2-1 ball game. I am going to be away from home most of the day tomorrow, so I doubt there's going to be any games tomorrow during the day or the evening. Of course, Friday we will have Friday Fun Day, where I pick a game I have not played in a while and present that. And then, of course, on Saturday, assuming I don't have any more personal problems, we'll be back to season ticket baseball for the NBC game of the week. I believe it's the Red Sox and the Royals, but don't quote me on it. All right, here's Ellis Burks. 3-7, that's a strikeout. So 2 strikeouts in a row now for Langston. Going back to last inning, he seems to have settled in. Here's Marty Barrett. That's a 3-6, and that's a single. So as soon as I say that he settles in, he gives up a single. So Barrett, chance to get the lead with a 4. Has to get a 4. He does not, so he will hold. And that brings up Boggs, who homered his last time up, or his first time up. So see what he can do here against Langston. 4-6, and that's a strikeout. Langston with the 3rd strikeout. And that's one of the bad parts of Strat-O-Matic compared to, say, inside pitch. Inside pitch, Boggs would have probably countered that strikeout chance with a low strikeout number, but he has no chance when it's off Langston's card in Strat-O-Matic. He just strikes out. Only struck out 48 times all year, but so I'm sure in this replay he will strike out probably 80 times. I'm guessing, probably twice as much, almost twice. I'll say 75 to make it more realistic. But write it down now. Check it when this thing is done. 75 strikeouts for Wade Boggs at the end of the year, just because of the Strat engine. All right, here's Baylor. 3-7, and that's a single to center field. Moses is a 0 arm. Barrett was being held, makes him a 14. 2 outs makes him a 16. 1-16, they're going to send him. Baylor, since he's so slow, I'm not allowing him to take the trail run, so it's a one-shot deal. 1-16 to get to third base. And he's in there. So runners are at the corners with 2 outs. And Langston can't get out of his own way. Here's Dewey Evans. Clutch situation for Evans. In the clutch against lefties, he gains a hit on 3-10 and 3-2. That's a 3-10. We just called it 3-10. That would have been an out, but there's an omega symbol there. That turns into a single 2 stars, and that's going to be a base hit RBI single for Dewey Evans. In the clutch, he comes through. And for those that don't like the clutch ratings of Strat, oh well, I'm playing. That's they have clutch ratings on it. I'm going to use it. All right, here's Billy Buck. It's now 3-1 favor of the Red Sox. Still good at batting with 2 outs. 3-10, and that is a ground ball to second, Harold Reynolds. After watching baseball tonight, he's able to make the fundamental play there to get that done and end the inning. But damage done. 3-1 Red Sox after 3. Dewey Evans with that clutch base hit to give him a little breathing room. And Nipper needs it because he doesn't have a whole lot of help in the bullpen. All right, so Scott Bradley will lead things off here in the top of the 4th. That's a 3-8, and that's a split chance. 1-15 is a single. That's a 10, base hit. Scott Bradley, he will not be held. Obviously, does not run well. And here's the big guy, Ken Phelps. 3-5 for Phelps, struck him out. A lot of breeze on that one. A hefty, mighty swing. First strikeout for Nipper. He's not a big strikeout guy, but he kind of baffled Phelps there with the junk. And now that brings up Jim Presley, the Hound Dog. He homered his first chance. 4-7, and that's a single 1-17, and it certainly is. It's 1 star. So Scott Bradley will stop at second base, but now the Mariners have the tying runs on base with only 1 out, and Alvin Davis, your batter, against Nipper. 2-4, and that's a ground ball first base A. They will go 3-6-3. How about that? Billy Buck helping to turn the 3-6-3 double play to end the inning. Pitcher's best friend. And Billy Buck did it. So we go to the bottom of the 4th, still 3-1, favor of the Red Sox. Next game in this replay, I have no idea when it will be. Might be Sunday, Saturday night, who knows. We're looking at Texas at the Yankees. That would be the next game in the replay. Here is Dave Henderson to start off the bottom of the 4th. 6-9, and that is a 1-6 single. It's a 13, though, so he lines it to Quinones for 1 away. Sunday night, I'm hoping to do Game 4 of the Sparky Bowl, Tigers and the Reds. Here's Ed Romero, 5-10, and that is a fly ball center field X. Again, Moses a 2E5. 2 and a 4, interesting. 2 and a 4 is an F1. He is able to make the catch. He's an E5, and that's a 10, so he should be okay there, and he is. So he makes the catch. If anybody had been on base, they would have tagged and moved up, but no one was on base. That's how deep that fly ball was. But Moses ran it down, and here's Sullivan. Good deal, Tim. Good to see you. Sullivan 1-3 against Langston as a ground ball to short, and Quinones handles that, no problem. Sox down in order, but they still lead it 3-1 after 4. As Al Nipper trying to go at least 7 innings. That's it. That's the goal. They want Nipper to go 7 because there's only 2 relievers in the bullpen, Steve Crawford and Joe Sambito. Everyone else is fatigued from the last game, having to work so much. So they're counting on Nipper to eat these innings. Here's Kingery. 6-8, and that is a base on balls. Not what they wanted out of Nipper. That is the second walk issued by Nipper. That'll send up Quinones. Kingery, actually, chance to get the lead, but he does get picked off on a 9 through 12. That's the dangerous part. But they're going to try to get the lead anyway. The 10, he is picked off. So Kingery is picked off. Try to get aggressive, and it didn't pay off. And Nipper, with a quick move, gets him. Here's Quinones. 1-8. And that's a ground ball shortstop A. Would have been a double play anyway had he not tried to steal, as it turns out. So maybe getting the lead wasn't that bad of an idea anyway, because it would have turned out as a double play, as you can see right there. Here's Harold Reynolds. 4-2, switch hitter batting left. It's a ground ball first base C, so Buckner's got it. Flips to Nipper covering to end the inning. So Nipper has pitched 5 solid innings, and Red Sox still lead it 3-1. Langston, again, much like much of his season, very little run support, and he's hitting that wall again with the lack of offense. Here's Ellis Burks to lead it off. It's a 2-11 for Burks, and that's a ballpark single, which is a 1-15, and that's a base hit for Ellis Burks. So Fenway Park strikes again with the good base hits. Burke's going to try to get the lead. He needs a 5 or a 6. Does not get the lead. He will hold. Here's Marty Barrett. 6-8, and that's a base on balls. And now the Langston getting a little bit of trouble, putting 2 on with nobody out. For Langston, that is his second walk to go with 3 strikeouts. But now first and second, and you got Boggs and Baylor coming up. You're digging your own grave here, Mr. Langston. Better try to get a double play out of this. That's a 1-4, and and he just did. 1-4 is a second base A ground ball double play. 4-6-3. Just what Langston ordered. 2 quick outs. Burks does take third, but boy, the prospects of getting out of the inning look a whole lot better now. As Harold Reynolds taking the pivot and double play maneuvers that he learned on Baseball Tonight and use it to his advantage. So 2 down, here's Baylor. Clutch situation. 1-5 for Baylor. He pops it up to short. Quinones is there, and the inning's over. So Langston, a magician, gets out of this. A double play and a pop-up. Gets out of the mess, and at the end of 5, it's 3-1 Boston. Now we move to the 6th. This is Nipper's fatigue inning, the 6th inning. So he's got to be careful with that as well. But the way he's pitching, he should be able to go 7, you would think. Here's Moses. He's 0 for 2. 2-6, and 1-3 is a single. That is a 3. How about that? Moses parted the Red Sea with that single. And he's on, but let's see, can he try to get the lead? He's going to try to get the lead. He's only picked off on an 11. Anything else, he's all right. That's an 8. He will get the lead. He's a 15. Ben Hill's a 13, but then that +4 is a 17. So 1-17, and Moses will steal it. Right on the number, he does. Stolen base. And boy, Marty Barrett is complaining to the second base umpire saying he had the tag, but he says, shut up and play. He was in there. So stolen base for Moses. And that'll bring up Phil Bradley. He is the tying run at the plate. 6-8, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is going to be Romero. He's a 3E10. 3-15 might be a good play. Should be a good play, actually. 3 and a 15, but the error might be a problem. That's a 17, and he's an E10. First of all, a 15 and a 3 is a G1. He's an E10, but that is a 17. And there we go. E10, a 17 is a 1 base error on Romero. So Romero boots it. E6. That's going to put runners at the corners with nobody out. Nipper not appreciative of the effort by Romero. So runners on the corners, nobody out. Phil Bradley, he's going to be looking to get the lead. Needs a 2-5. And he gets the lead. He's going to go. He's a 19. Ben Hill's a 17. +4 is a 21. So in this case, Sullivan's not even going to throw down. They're just going to let him steal the base. They don't want to have a throwing error, because the only way you would have been out would have been on a 20. So not worth that gamble. So second and third, nobody out. And here's Phil Bradley. And infield is back for the Red Sox. They need an out. That's a 6-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. It's Marty Barrett. Nobody was being held. So Marty Barrett is a 2E11, but the infield was back. That's a 2 and a 9 for an infielder, for a second baseman. 2 and a 9 is a G2, and that's a 10, so he should be okay with that. As an E11, there is no 10. So we go to our chart here, second and third on a G2. Second and third, infield normal, runners advance. So it's a ground out, but the run will score to make it 3-2. Going to third is Bradley. Now the infield will come in for the Red Sox as the tying run stands just 90 feet away. So with 1 out, Bradley at third, and that will bring up Mr. Phelps. Nipper to Phelps, looking for the strikeout. 4-4, and he gets it. He's not tired yet. The strikeout is good. Strikeout by Nipper. It's only his second strikeout. He's gotten Phelps twice, and boy, that was a big one. And now the infield can go back to normal, but he's not out of the woods yet because the Hound Dog is up, and he homered his first time up. He's also singled. So not out of the woods just yet. 1-6. He is now. He strikes out Presley to end the inning. So he limits the Mariners to 1 run, does sort of a Houdini, and he'll actually keep a tiny bit of endurance into the 7th inning. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 3-2 Boston. But things a little bit closer now. Here's Langston. 2 Evans, 4-10. That's trouble. 1-9's a homer. That's a 17. It'll be a solid double for Dewey Evans. He is 2 for 2. A walk, single, and a double. Had that clutch RBI single back in the 3rd, which is the difference in the game right now. Here's Billy Buck. Buckner 0 for 2. 5-9. Split chance, liner to second. So he lines it to Reynolds, 1 away. So 1 down. And that'll send it to Hindu, Dave Henderson. He's also 0 for 2. 6-8, and that is a base on balls. So another walk issued by Langston, his 3rd. It does set up a double play if you want to look for a silver lining. Here's Ed Romero. He's also 0 for 2. That's a 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. Let's see if Harold Reynolds can turn the double play. He's a 2E21. What did he learn from baseball tonight? 2 and a 12. That will be close. 2 and a 12 is a G1 possible double play. That's a 10. Reynolds is a 21. There is no 10. It's a 4-6-3 double play. And Harold Reynolds has been working on those fundamentals on baseball tonight, and he turns the double play and gets Langston out of the jam. So we played 6 here at Fenway, and it's only 3-2. I was expecting more runs with the Fenway Park factor, but Langston and Nipper have been hanging in there with some good defense behind them for the most part. Here's Nipper. Now the bullpen is active for the Red Sox. They do have Steve Crawford loosening in the bullpen just in case. They'd like to get Nipper through this inning, though. Facing Alvin Davis. 5-6, and that is a strikeout. The dot there, but he's not tired yet. That's 3 strikeouts in a row for Nipper. In fact, if anything, it seems like he's getting stronger with 3 consecutive strikeouts. Here's Kingery. It's a 6-7. Ground ball second base X. We're looking at Marty Barrett. Barrett is a 2E11. 2 and a 16, he'll get to it. E11 and an 11. Sure, that's not a problem. E11, and there is no 11, so it's a good play for Marty Barrett. And there's 2 away. So Nipper might go 7 strong here. We'll see. Here's Quinones. That's a 3-8. 1-8's a single. That's a 6. It'll be a base hit for Quinones. A 2-out single. 2-out single for Quinones. He's not much of a threat to run. Here's Harold Reynolds. He's 0 for 2. Nipper on the verge of being fatigued, but not fatigued yet. 1 more base runner. I believe he will be fatigued. A 2-9, and that's a single. There's an anti-clutch there, but the runner is not in scoring position, so the single will stand. Single to center field. Now Quinones was not being held. So that makes him a 14. 2 outs makes him a 16. So 1-16, he can get to third base. And if the Red Sox throw through, Reynolds would take second. So they're going to allow him to take third base and keep Reynolds at first base. And that'll bring up the top of the order in John Moses, but he may not face Nipper. The Red Sox may go to the bullpen here. I believe they will. Steve Crawford's already gotten the call from John McNamara. So Steve Crawford will be coming on for the Red Sox in a very tight situation. We'll do the numbers on Nipper at the end of the inning. But right now, 2 outs and runners on the corners in a clutch situation on a 3-2 ball game. So let's bring in Crawford and get his numbers on the replay. He has been the best Red Sox pitcher on the replay to date. Crawford on the replay, 2-2 with 2 saves, a 3.04 earned run average, which is 2 points below his normal. 24 innings pitched, 25 hits, 13 walks, and 18 strikeouts. So Reynolds, let's see, Crawford's got a -4 hold, though. So if they try to steal, that could be problematic with that -4. If he gets the lead, it would be a 1-12. So I don't think they want to run themselves out of an inning. They will hold him, but he won't try anything. So it's up to John Moses to bring home the tying run. 5-2, switch hitter batting left. It's a ground ball first base C. So Buckner gets to it, flips to Crawford covering, and that's going to do it. That's going to end the inning. And Nipper and the Red Sox keep the lead. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, he keeps the lead. And we'll do the numbers on Nipper. We'll go to the Strat computer so I can be efficient. And we'll get the numbers on Nipper. Nipper on the ball game, 6 2/3. 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned because of that E6 on Romero. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. So all in all, Red Sox pretty much got out of Nipper what they wanted. They turned over to Crawford, and they're going to see if Crawford can at least get him to the 9th, maybe to Sambito. We'll see what happens. Due up for the Red Sox is Sullivan, Burks, and Barrett. We are in the 7th inning, so pinch hitting is available here. But with a lefty on, I think they're going to let Sullivan still hit. And we'll eschew the 7th inning stretch and just go straight on because we want to get this thing going on here. All right. Sullivan, the batter against Langston. 2-10, and that is a ground ball to third. Presley is there. 1 away. 1 down for Ellis Burks. Now, in a pinch, if the Red Sox need somebody, Bob Stanley does not start for a couple of games, so they could bring in Bob Stanley in an emergency if they really had to. So here's Ellis Burks. 5-11, and that's a fly ball left field X. That's Phil Bradley. He's a 2E5. 2E5. 2 and a 16 is good. E5 and a 10 should be good all day long. Don't get many errors on 10s. E5, there's no 10, and a 16 and a 2 is a F3. So good play for Bradley to retire Burks. 2 down. And that'll bring up Marty Barrett. 5-10, and that's a fly ball center field X this time. So again, Moses, same as Bradley, 2E5. 2 and a 4, a little bit different this time. 2 and a 4, although he will get to it with an F1. That's a 13. He's an E5. There is no 13. So Moses makes the play. And Langston will at least go 7 innings. His fatigue is the 8th, so they're going to probably keep him in there. See what happens. We are going now to the top of the 8th with the score 3-2. And Crawford coming back out will be facing both Bradleys and Phelps. Although if they want a pinch hit for Scott Bradley, well, there's really not much there. So I think they're going to stick with who they've got pretty much. Here's Phil Bradley. 1-6, and that's a 1-9 double. But that's a 16, so he will fly it out to left field where Hindu will handle it. 1 away. And here is Scott Bradley. Scott Bradley is 1 for 3. 5-4, fly ball to center, and Burks handles it. 2 down. for Ken Phelps. He's a dangerous one. One swing of the bat can tie this game. And he can hit homers off of lefties too, so bringing in Sambito may not be the answer either. Crawford's pitching pretty well. He's retired all three he's faced, so they're going to leave him in there. 6-7 against the left-hander. That's a 1-16 double. It'll be a double for Phelps. He will double, and they will bring in a pinch runner for Phelps because he is the tying run. So we look at the bench for Seattle. At their best runners, Christensen runs at a 13, Ramos a 12, Renteria a 14, 10 and 10. So Rich Renteria will take over as the pinch runner. He runs at 14. He's not there to steal. He's there to try to score on a base hit. So Renteria, pinch running here in the 8th inning. He'll stay in the game as DH. But of course, if they need a hitter, if it goes extra innings, I'm sure they'll bring somebody in for him. But they want his 14 speed out there. And then not being held would make him a 15. 2 outs would make him a 17. So it makes him almost guaranteed to score on a base hit, unless it's a 1-star. All right, so clutch situation now for Crawford facing Presley. The Hound Dog is 2 for 3. Now, first base is open. It would be awful gutsy to issue the free pass. Not sure McNamara would want to do that. Davis is on deck. So I think they're going to go after the righty-on-righty matchup and take their chances with Presley. Runner on second with good speed, 2 down. Presley in the clutch against Crawford. In the clutch, he loses a hit on 2-3. Everything else is neutral. That's a 1-2. It's a Lomax plus injury. So we're going to add injury to the insult. He Lomaxes it to Boggs to end the inning. And now we're going to see if there's an injury involved, where Presley has to come out. 1-4, he stays in the game. 5 or higher, he's out. He's out of there. So Presley will be removed, and the Mariners will need a new third baseman. So Presley pulled something, injured himself, and Domingo Ramos will take over as the third baseman. He will be the third baseman in the 8th inning. So Domingo Ramos. 3 E15, so not too bad, actually, all things considered. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, and we will bring in Ramos to play third base on the computer. Langston's going to stay out there. He'll be facing Boggs, a lefty, and then Baylor Evans, righty and righty. They got a right-hander loosening in the bullpen. Jerry Reed might be in there to face Evans because Evans has owned Langston. So, hello, Colin. Good to see you. Bottom of the 8th, 3-2 Red Sox. Langston in his fatigue inning. 2-5, and that's a ground ball to first, and that's an easy play for Alvin Davis. He'll make it to the bag himself, 1 away. Here is Don Baylor. One 6, and that's a ground ball to third. Nice play there by the new third baseman. I tell you, when you bring in a new fielder, the ball will find you. We bring in Ramos, and the ball finds him on the second at bat of the inning. So now here's Dewey Evans, and much to the chagrin of Mark Langston, tell you what, Dick Williams says we're not going down that path again. They're going to be bringing in Jerry Reed, eastbound and down. Jerry Reed will come in specifically to face Dewey Evans. I know Langston's going to go 7 2/3. We'll fill in the rest later. Evans will have to face Jerry Reed, a right-hander. And like I said, Langston, being the bulldog he is not happy about this, but manager says you're coming out, you're coming out. Jerry Reed on the replay, 1-1 with 2 saves, an ERA of 6 even. 21 innings pitched, 23 hits, 6 walks, and 14 strikeouts. So 2 outs, base is clear, but Dewey Evans, dangerous. It's a 3-4. Right-handed is a ground ball to short. And that will end the inning. Langston says, I could have got him out on the 3-4. I'd had a ground out too, but you don't know that when you roll the dice. You're playing the percentages. So we go to the top of the ninth. Last chance for the Mariners. It'll be Davis, Kingery, and Quinones. Some lefties coming up, but do they dare go to Zambito is the question. You could play the percentages and go to Zambito. Crawford actually is tired, so they're going to have to go to Zambito. So they will go to Joe Zambito out of the bullpen. And let's see if there's any other moves to be made. I don't think so. They'd like to get Buckner off first base, but the only other first baseman they have that's rated is Evans, and he needs to be in right field. Boggs, I think, could play first, but he's not. They're all fours, so there's really no advantage there. So, going to stick with who they've got in the field, and it is Joe Zambito coming in to try to save the game for the Red Sox. Schiraldi is not on the roster, and all these other guys are tired. So Zambito will be coming on. He's got a hold of -5, so that definitely helps the running game, or helps keep the running game in check. Let's go to the Strat computer and get the numbers. Hello, Blackie Thunders. Good to see you. Hello, Kevin. 3-2. It is a fun game going on. We're going to the computer now to get the game day stats on here. Crawford goes an inning and a third, and he gets up a hit, nothing else. No walks, no strikeouts. Langston, 7 2/3, 7 hits, 3 runs. They were earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Reed so far just a third of an inning. Don't know if he's going to pitch in the 9th or not. Depends on if the Mariners tie the game. It is the last chance for Seattle, and it will be Alvin Davis, Mike Kingery, and Quinones. Now, Mariners do have right-hander John Christensen on the bench that could come in and pinch hit for Kingery. In fact, he probably will, because Kingery doesn't hit as well against lefties. So it's going to be actually Davis, Christensen, and Quinones. Christensen will pinch hit in the 9th, right after Alvin Davis hits. So first things first, it's Zambito. On the replays, 0-2 with a save, ERA of 11, 9 innings pitched, 16 hits, 5 walks, and 6 strikeouts. So not exactly a lot of confidence, but they're down to the dregs of humanity. If they need somebody, Bob Stanley could come in and face a righty if they had to do it. Lefty on lefty matchup, 4-6, and that is a strikeout by Zambito. 1 away. Big first out to get, and here is the pinch hitter, John Christensen. We'll bring him in on the computer and get his numbers. Christensen on the replay. He'll be pinch hitting for the left-hander Kingery. On the replay, Christensen is hitting .308 in 26 at-bats. No homers, 2 driven in. He had .242 real world. But I believe he did better against lefties. So here's the pitch to Christensen. 2-6 against the left-hander, and that's a base hit for Christensen. Base hit Christensen. 2-6. Kingery would have grounded to first, so good move there, bringing Christensen in. He is the tying run. He doesn't run well, but I don't know if they have anybody on the bench that runs better. They use their only good pinch runner. All they have the 2 backup catchers, Valley and Kearney, so they're kind of stuck with Christensen. He will not be held. He runs at a 13, but he's not very good for stealing. So here's Quinones. Quinones is 1 for 3. That's a 4-5. Right-handed struck him out. Zambito with another strikeout. And it's all down to Mr. Baseball tonight, Harold Reynolds. Last chance for the Mariners. It is Harold Reynolds. Christensen not being held at first base. Zambito to Reynolds. 2-7. I'm sorry, 2-6 against the lefty. He lines it to Boggs, and that's the ball game. So Joe Sambito hangs on and wins it, saves it rather, for the Red Sox. He gives up a hit, nothing else, strikes out 2, and earns his second save. Nipper improves to 4-2. Langston drops to 3-5. Reed a third of an inning, but nothing else. So the Red Sox win a nip and tuck one, 3-2. And let's see, 3 runs, 7 hits for the Red Sox, 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Mariners. Winning pitcher, Al Nipper, now 4-2. Well, let's go ahead and put the computer. That way I can get the totals and the updated ERAs and all that good stuff. So let's put this in the computer and wrap a bow on this thing. So Langston drops to 3-5. His ERA ups to 5.07. Nipper improves to 4-2. His ERA is now 4.03. Sambito, his second save, his ERA drops from 11 to 9.90. Player of the game, you can take your pick. Evans was 2 for 3. Had a clutch RBI single here. Boggs did have the 2-run homer in the first, but he didn't do anything else afterwards. So it's really kind of hard to say who the player of the game would be. Kind of a tough call on that one, I would think. Not really anybody super outstanding. But that's just the way it is. Game 220 in the books. Boston now 13-20, and I believe they just tied the Orioles for last place. I think they got out of the cellar by themselves. I'm going to check that. Yep, they're both 13-20 now, so they're tied with the Orioles for last place at 13-20. Seattle drops to a league worst 12-22, and they were actually, before this game started, they were 19-15 in real world. So they were after this game, so they are 7 games behind their pace, because right now they're 12-22 in real world. They were 19-15. So not sure what's happened to them. They're just not hitting, because Langston pitched well enough to win, but not well enough to win here. It's just how it goes. So there is your ball game. Next game on the docket for Strat-O-Matic, and I don't know if it'll probably be, I don't know when it would be, Saturday or when it would be. Hard to tell, to be honest with you. But game 221, if I can find the sheet here. Where'd it go? Did I misplace my score sheet for 221? I may have. Huh. Interesting. Well, we'll figure it out later. I don't know when game 221 will be or who it will be. Oh, here we go. Is this what? Yeah, that's what I was looking for. It's on the back side of this one. Game 221 will be Texas and New York. It'll be Jose Guzman against Tommy John. Like I said, I don't know what day we'll actually play it, but it'll be sometime this weekend. But that'll be the next Strat-O-Matic game. Be sure to check out RJL's 1999 Inside Pitch replay. That game will be coming up shortly, I do believe. Probably about 5 minutes or so. So be sure to check that out. Of course, I probably won't have any games going tomorrow at all. If I do, it'll be really late tomorrow night, but most likely will not be any, because I'm going to be away from home most of the day. And by the time I get back, I'm probably not going to feel like playing anything. But Friday will be Fun Day Friday, where I pick a game I have not played in a long time and present that. And then, of course, Saturday will be the NBC Game of the Week. And I believe that will pit Boston against Kansas City. Don't quote me on it, but I believe that's what it will be. So, hope you all enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced 1987 style. Whether you're a Red Sox fan or not, don't know, but it was a good game either way. You have to admit, 3-2, nice tight pitcher's duel. Went down to the wire, and they had to sweat out a Joe Sambito save, which is, you're talking about sweating out. You're sweating out a Joe Sambito save for sure. So thank you for everybody who stopped by, and thanks to all who will watch later. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.